alpha predator mother left her cubs unattended. When she returned, word count, 1900. Beginning. The twin suns of Syndralis Prime blaze across the horizon, drenching the jagged valleys in molten gold. Shadows stretched long across the canyon floor, where the bones of ancient beasts still lay half-buried in the dust. This planet, once catalogued as uninhabitable, Tier 6 hazard, was home to predators so powerful that even the galaxy's most notorious poachers refused to linger here. Among them reigned the Krovith, colossal wolf-lion hybrids with armor hides, hook claws, and eyes that gleamed with predatory intelligence. At the top of the food chain stood one particular Krovith, Shikira, the alpha mother. Her pack had been slaughtered years ago in battles over territory, yet she had survived. Shakira's size was unmatched, her roar strong enough to send seismic tremors through stone. Now, she had something to protect. 3 cubs, still nursing, their eyes just beginning to shine with the eerie bioluminescence of their kind. On this day, Shikira left her cubs nestled inside the warm cavern she had carved into basalt cliffs. The hunt called her. The cubs needed meat, marrow, blood. She rubbed her armored snout against each little one, leaving behind her scent, a warning to any scavenger or predator foolish enough to approach. The alpha mother bounded across the ravine, muscles rippling, senses attuned to the world. The wind carried scents, dust, metallic minerals, and something else, something new. The galaxy's influence had reached Syndralis Prime again. Middle, the intruder, miles away, under the shimmer of a cloaking shield, a human research craft touched down. Inside, Dr. Elias Varon, exobiologist, specialist in predator ecosystems, activated his recording drone. He was not here legally. The Syndralis system had been quarantined by the Galactic Council after failed colonization attempts and bloody encounters with the Krovith. But Elias was desperate. His funding had been cut, his reputation tarnished after challenging the Council's theory that Krovith were mindless killing machines. He believed they had structured intelligence, language, even culture. To prove it, he needed direct observation, something no one had achieved and lived to tell. He didn't expect to find a den so quickly. His drones picked up heat signatures. 3 small Krovith cubs curled together inside a cavern. Elias's heart pounded. To approach living cubs was suicidal, but to film them, to record their vocalizations, play back data to track patterns, that would change everything. Ignoring the warnings that screamed through his survival instincts, he moved closer. His steps were slow, careful. The cubs whimpered when they smelled the unfamiliar presence. One of them, bolder than the others, waddled forward and growled with a tiny rasp. Elias whispered into his recorder. Subject size, approximately 1 meter length. Heavy bone density. Already armed with retractable claws. Behavior, curious but not yet hostile. Remarkable, he extended his gloved hand. The cub sniffed, then yipped. The sound was high-pitched yet layered, carrying undertones humans couldn't fully process. Elias froze. It wasn't random. It sounded like phonetics. He began to mimic it, replaying the recording through his drone. The cub tilted its head. Then it responded. Elias nearly dropped his recorder. They're talking. The return. Shakira's hunt was swift and brutal. She brought down a horned therosaur, snapping its spine with one strike. She dragged the carcass halfway to the den before instinct screamed. Her cubs. Something was wrong. The alpha mother roared, a thunderous shockwave that rolled through the cliffs. She abandoned the carcass and thundered back toward the cavern. Elias had only minutes to realize his mistake. The ground trembled with her approach. He turned pale as the first echoes hit him. His drone beeped an alarm. She's coming. He scrambled, tried to retreat, but the bold cub yipped again, not with fear, but as if calling out. And when Shikira rounded the ridge, eyes blazing, Elias froze under the weight of her gaze. Shakira's armored mane bristled. The scent of her cubs mingled with him. An intruder had dared step into the heart of her bloodline. Her roar shattered rocks. Elias fell to his knees, hands raised. I mean no harm. I study. But Shikira wasn't listening. She lunged. The standoff. Death should have claimed Elias in that instant. Her claws ripped the earth inches from his face, but the cub, the bold one, yipped again. It darted between Elias and Shikira, pressing its little body against a human's leg. Shikira stopped. Her chest heaved, nostrils flaring. The cub growled, a miniature echo of her own voice. It was defending him. Confusion war with fury in the alpha mother's mind. Kravat cubs never defended outsiders. They knew blood, pack, predator law. Yet here was her own blood shielding prey. Elias, trembling, took his chance. He replayed the cub's earlier sounds through his drone. The layered frequencies bounced across the canyon walls. Shakira's ears flicked. Her eyes narrowed. He wasn't just mimicking. He was learning their language. Bond forged in fear. For days, Elias lingered at the edge of the den. Shakira allowed him only because of the cub who had chosen him. Every movement he made was under her watchful, lethal gaze. He observed how Shakira groomed her cubs, how she taught them by example, roaring at shadows, leading them to sniff trails, swiping her claws to show technique. This wasn't mere instinct. It was structured teaching. Elias began cataloging their vocalizations. The cub responded quickly, learning to repeat sounds back to him. Sometimes the others joined, curious. Slowly, Shakira herself growled phrases, testing him. One evening, as the suns bled crimson over the horizon, Elias dared speak in broken Kravat tones. No threat. Friend. Protect cub. The silence that followed was suffocating. Then, Shakira lowered her head. Her eyes glowed like molten stone as she huffed warm air against his chest. A warning, but also recognition. Climax. The fragile peace shattered when another predator pack descended from the northern cliffs. A rival alpha, scarred and starving, sought to claim Shakira's territory. The night erupted with roars. Claws clashed against armor hides. Shakira fought with savage grace, but the rival pack was many, and she was only one. Her cubs cowered deep in the cavern. Elias stood paralyzed as the battle raged outside. One cub yipped desperately at him, the same one that had bonded with him. Its eyes begged for action. Elias's human rationality screamed run. But another instinct, primal, raw, took over. He grabbed his drone, reprogrammed the sonic emitters, and unleashed a deafening playback of Shakira's roar. The canyon boomed with the amplified cry, making it sound as if dozens of alphas had risen. The rival pack hesitated, panic flashing in their glowing eyes. In that instant, Shakira lunged, tearing out the rival alpha's throat. The survivors scattered into the shadows. Bloody but victorious, Shakira stood tall. Elias staggered forward, still shaking, and placed himself between her cubs and the retreating predators. For the first time, Shakira did not see prey. She saw a pack. Ending. Weeks bled into months. Elias repaired his ship, but he never left. Instead, he lived among the Kravat, learning their calls, their hunting rituals, their ways of marking territory. He carried meat for the cubs, guarded them when Shakira hunted, even endured their playful bites that nearly broke his bones. And as the cubs grew, towering, feral, magnificent, they still nuzzled him as though he were one of them. Word eventually spread beyond Sindralis. His transmissions, encrypted but intercepted, revealed footage of humans walking among Kravat, playing with their cubs, speaking in crude yet functional versions of their tongue. The Galactic Council was shaken. Poachers came, drawn by profit. Explorers came, drawn by curiosity. But none could approach without Shakira's roar thundering through the valleys. And beside her, impossibly, stood a man. Dr. Elias Varen had become something more than human. He was the outsider who became pack. When Shakira left her cubs unattended again, she never feared. Because she knew, when she returned, he would be there. Not prey, not intruder. Family.